Hi everyone, this is Candace for the Lark Music Vlog. And today's vlog is the second of a two-part series called The Art of Practice. So once again, I'm going to give you some detailed instructions about how to have your best practice. And in this particular vlog, I'm going to discuss how to practice smarter, not harder. So when learning pieces, we definitely have little speed bumps that, we work over. And sometimes they just take a little extra practice to get over. But there's also times when we have these parts and pieces that almost feel like a wall that we just can't get over, under, or through. So the tips I'm going to give you today are going to help you deconstruct those walls and help you just move through them. So my first tip for practicing smarter and not harder is start with the problem area first. So you might have one problem area, you might have numerous problem areas. Start with those first. Don't continue to go back to the beginning of your piece over and over. It may feel really good because you can run through the beginning all nice, but it's actually not very productive. So make sure you're starting with the problem areas first, then going to the beginning and running through. Want to make sure we start, taking those problem areas apart. Remember, we're deconstructing the wall. So my second tip is figure out what the problem is. What's going on? How do you keep ending up with this negative result? Is it fingering? Is it not reading? Is it counting? How do you keep getting there? So if it's fingering, huffing and throwing your hands up in the air isn't an option because, well, you have to see what you did with your fingers. And it's probably not a good thing to do, especially if you have a violin. So, number 3, what can you do to fix the problem? So you should try out 2 or 3 solutions to your problem to figure out which one's going to work best for you. Okay, so maybe you just need your solution to a problem is simply circling, a note or a dynamic. Or maybe you need to write in the letter name of a note. There's a gazillion ledger lines and you just keep reading it wrong. Or maybe you need to actually tweak your technique in a particular measure to make sure that you can get the fingering correct. At least try 2 or 3. So when you go back to lessons, you can talk to your teacher and you've already gotten rid of a few things and you can pretty much hit the ground running. And your teacher can help you come to a better solution for the problem area. Number 4, use what works. Tried out those 2 or 3 solutions. Now pick one. Which one's going to work the best? Which seems to be working the best to fix the issue? Now here's one that I don't think that we do a lot as students that we really should. And that is, number 5 is you really need to monitor the solution. We tend to monitor the problem, but monitor the solution. Another good reason for having notebooks with you, your music journal. But what I mean by monitoring the solution is you are going to say, okay, Monday this worked out really well. Tuesday, this worked out okay. Wednesday, this didn't work at all. But maybe Thursday or Friday, it worked really well. Stick with that solution. If it's working well most of the time to help you fix your issue in your problem areas, stick with that solution. But another reason why you make a note is because you might have to change the solution and you want to remember, which ones you tried already. So let's do a quick recap of the solutions to working smarter and not harder. So number 1 is start with the problem area first. Don't keep going back to the beginning. Number 2, figure out what the problem is. And number 3, pick 2 or 3 potential solutions. Number 4, use what solution works. And number 5 is monitor the solution. Make sure it's working for you. So when you use these tips, it'll keep you from getting worn out. It'll keep you from becoming extremely frustrated. We don't want you banging your head up against the stand and, like I said, throwing your hands up in the air. It should be enjoyable. There's a little bit of hard work involved, but this is to help you deconstruct those walls and knowing and understanding that you actually can get from beginning to the end of the piece. We just have to approach it differently. and everyone's a little different. So those are my tips for working smarter, not harder, and that is the end of the two-part series, the art of practice. So this is Candace Lark for the art of practice and for the Lark Music Blog, and I will see you next time.